Hi everybody. I made a video earlier and I actually looked worse than I do now. I wanted to bring you some inspiration on legacy letters to leave behind to your loved ones. I want to make this video, but I didn't make one yesterday because I was a lot sicker. So I forced it out of me this morning and I'm glad I did. Pushing myself helps. I'm definitely close to out of the woods here. So I've been sick a few days. So without further ado, let's talk about that, how I'm feeling, and if you're interested in how my Gettysburg trip was, then stick around to the end. Let's get to. Hi, my name is Francine and I have ovarian cancer. We don't know how long I have, so my job right now is to make every day count. Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing good, or at least better than I am. I am definitely sick. Yesterday, I was a lot worse. I was supposed to do a video yesterday on writing legacy letters, and I couldn't even turn the camera on. I've eaten very little in the last couple of days, just no appetite. I lost 2 pounds. And I go through this maybe average once a month for a few days, but I hadn't gone through it for a while, so I might have gotten too comfortable. It is a very difficult feeling to describe. I mean, I'm sure you all have felt the blahs. Not something I've picked up in the wild. I don't have, cold symptoms or flu symptoms. I never get a fever, but I'm usually cold and I just want to sleep a lot and just, no appetite. I have just no energy. Chris texted me this morning and asked if I was feeling better. He doesn't get home till about 1 p.m. And I told him, what I'll tell you is, I'm not out of the woods, but I can see the clearing. And so I hope by this evening I'll be doing much better. I slept yesterday. When I woke up, I went back to bed about 9:30. I slept till about 1. I was up for like 2 hours. I went back down. Last night I went to bed about 7 after dinner, and I pretty much slept through the night. It was restless, but I slept through the night. And my energy's so low that I'm going to speed this video up in the magic of editing department so that I'm not totally boring. But I know I appreciated that a lot of you said I could never be boring, but I don't know. Just wait. So I find it ironic that I wanted to talk about writing legacy letters and the importance of that and offer ideas about it. The irony is that I haven't finished mine, and I think about it every time I get sick, because there could come a time when I get sick like this and I don't recover. So, but yeah, I just find that ironic that, I'm going to talk about that, and, it would have been a better video if I had not been sick and I was able to do it yesterday. But I'm going to try to get 2 videos done this week for a change. And so it was a real wake-up call for me to get my legacy letters done. It doesn't have to be letters. It can be a lot of things. So whether you're sick or not, it's something to think about. I would have given anything, if my mother had left me a letter. Even our last visit was a bit awkward. And I don't mean when she passed, because I was there, but when she could have a dialogue. Like we just let ego get in the way and we're just so afraid to grieve. And I talked about that before, normalizing the conversation. I wish my mother and I had done that. But the younger you are, the harder that is to deal with. The older that you are, even older people have problems with it. So that's not what this video is about, besides just reporting about my health in general right now. I think people really appreciate knowing your inner thoughts. I think people can share their wisdoms and their experiences, whether that is for the world at large or the people that they love. And there are people that have written books. There are people who make videos. And for me, there is a video. There's also a couple of letters I haven't finished. And I am going to do that this month. I'm absolutely going to do that because just never know. And if I get really sick and I can't even turn a video camera on, I certainly am going to be in no position to write notes. So that's it. That was what needs to happen. That's what I see for my immediate future. So I suppose I could talk about how to write one, the anatomy of a legacy letter, but it really depends on what you want to convey. I mean, there's an emotional impact for the writer and another emotional impact for the reader. And you have to sit down and you have to decide, what is it that I want to convey and to whom? So, of course, I wrote a list, and yesterday I didn't even have time to really memorize anything or, the outline, but I will just read you the list of inspirational ideas or things that you should know about writing a legacy letter, and I will just read that part to you. I don't know if I need my glasses for this or not. What I'm going to do is just make sure that I don't have, as long as I don't look up there. That really drives me crazy when you can't see somebody. Okay, so the first one I want to talk about is the letter of regret. And that is a person reflecting on their mistakes and missed opportunities. It can be a letter of apology, but it can be an apology or just a regret of, friends that we didn't reconcile with, those kind of things. And maybe it's just one letter that someone else can convey those messages to. Or it could be a book. Could be something for the community, But it serves as a reminder for the readers about the importance of relationships. So the letter of regrets is a good thing. If you're not in a good mindset, though, it might be a letter of anger, and you don't want to do that. I want to share a quick story about a friend of mine who attempted suicide a couple of decades ago. And she left a suicide note to her daughter. Now, I say attempted. She passed many, many years later, but while she was in the hospital, her daughter found this letter. And it was telling her daughter what a horrible person she was. Can you imagine that? I mean, I think that her daughter could be self-centered. No, she's definitely self-centered. But I think my friend is too, or was. And I get, when she told me about that she could never forgive her, ever, ever, ever. Well, she did, and they worked out the relationship. I guess something good could come out of it. And I know that my friend regretted that letter. She didn't talk about it, but they ended up becoming closer after probably a year of not talking. And you really have to think about what you're leaving. It's so important. The words, you have to understand that they're the last words that someone's going to read of yours. And they have no option to respond. So you have to be very, very clear. And you have to be nice. And don't do that to someone, even if you're angry. Instead, talk about how you regret that you didn't get along as well as you could have or should have. You know, I mean, in this case, it wasn't completely one-sided. My friend took that approach. It was all you and I was perfect. Okay. So, letters of regret. Very important how you word them. Another is pretty obvious. The letter of love. Pouring your heart out. Whether it's written to your children, your partners, your parents, just expressing how you feel about them, what you loved about them. You know, the things they did for you, or the things that you loved doing for them. They're often very, very moving, and those words will sustain someone for the rest of their life. It's a great gift. The next one is the letter of acceptance. A letter that speaks to the journey of coming to terms with someone's illness and approaching death with grace and acceptance. This makes a wonderful letter to your community. And understand, you don't have to be sick to do this. It's just that it's kind of like writing your will. It should probably be done, but we put things off. I think we put things off, just not just procrastination. It's just that you have to come to some acceptance when you write a letter, you know, and maybe that's even something to add to it. We procrastinate for a reason, you know, just we put it off, not because we're pretty sure we have time, but it's just not a priority and it's not something we want to deal with. It could also be a reflection on the positives of your illness, the things that you learned, the things that you found most important in life, and how your priorities changed for the better. I will admit there are things about my cancer that have changed me for the better. Am I grateful? I guess. I guess. Then there's the letter of hope. And it's just that. It gives people hope for their future. For instance, one of the letters I haven't finished is to Neon, and I want to talk about their future. I've started one for just after I passed, and then there's another one that I want Chris to give them at their age 18. If I haven't gone, then, I'll do it for some other future date. But I want to give them hope for the future. And that's a great legacy letter to leave. There's one person that I covered, because I do cover other people's stories, where mom had to leave a young girl behind. Her daughter got letters, and she's still getting cards for every holiday. And I think that's just so wonderful to be able to leave your children cards and letters and things that they'll find, on their wedding day, that kind of thing. But they offer advice and hope for the future and wisdom and anything you can impart to anyone at any age. I think is really awesome. I think it's going to be more popular as time goes on. But you're listening to this right now, so think about doing that. So these letters of hope can inspire other people with the challenges they face in life. Just powerful. That could change their entire outlook on how things come out or how they deal with it. And then there's the letter of reflection. It's a memoir. Nobody can put their head on your shoulders, and you can't do that either. You can't tell me that there aren't situations and reflections that everyone's aware of. I mean, for instance, a lot of my family is gone. And with that goes memories. I mean, I have memories, but I can't share them. Like, I can't sit down and laugh about things with my mother and a couple of friends that I've lost about times we had. You can still share them, though. You can share them with other people. You can share laughs. You can share those regrets and all the other topics I just talked about. But it truly is reflecting on your life and sharing those thoughts and those feelings. It's a very intimate thing to do. So only you can decide what kind of letter you're going to leave. When I write the letters, I'm crying. Maybe that's why I don't do it. I don't finish it. Because if I finish it, then I've accepted. And I don't want to cry. I don't want to say goodbye. But every time I wake up and I'm not feeling well, I wonder, is it possible that I'm not going to bounce back? It's scary. And every single time, my thoughts go to, crap, I didn't finish this, or I didn't finish that. I have put a lot of things in place. A lot of things are in place. A lot of, like, not the final arrangements, which is interesting too. Because putting a period on everything puts a period on everything. So anything left unfinished might be because of that. Yeah, that's something I should bring up with a therapist, right? When I look at the categories of different legacy letters, I mean, I can relate to all of them. I have a lot to reflect on. I have regrets. I have hope to offer. Maybe I'll write a little bit of all of that. But I'm here to encourage you to think about it. Think about, even if you're not doing it now, think about when the time comes. What do you want to leave behind? What message do you want to convey? Because your words are more important to people than you realize. They will be the last thoughts you have. Give them something to hold on to. I guess it's that important to me. But I have a lot of fear. I'm going to get it done now. This month, I'm going to get it all done. Okay, I'm going to do it. Anyway, during the edit process, I will be speeding this up because I'm talking really slow. And I will turn the volume up as well because I know I'm dragging ass right now. But the first thing I'm going to do when I turn off the camera is I'm going to go take a little nap before Chris gets home. I don't even know what we're doing for dinner. I have not eaten a whole lot. I'm hoping to get a little bit of my appetite back. Feel like crap. I'm glad I got it out there. And I know you understand. I'm hoping maybe tomorrow I'll feel a lot better and I can, do another video. Again, good hair, makeup, and all that stuff. And vim and vigor. Until then, no doubt I do feel blessed. Blessed that you're here. Thank you for that. And I hope you feel blessed because you're blessed. All right. Love you. Bye. Hi again. Gettysburg was great. That's really all I have to say, but we just had a good time. I needed that so bad, and I'm just so glad I wasn't sick during the trip. At least my body gave me a couple of days off, and now I went from feeling fabulous to feeling like crap. But I lived in Gettysburg, PA for about 4 years, so I was a bit of the ambassador, and it brought up a lot of memories for me. I didn't talk about a lot of them, but I would pass homes that, like, my friends lived at, that I had when I was there, and shops that changed hands And that was where my first shop was, the Metaphysical Center of Gettysburg. So I had a lot of memories. That shop actually turned back into an apartment where it was before. They turned it into a shop to begin with. And yeah, there's a lot of history, and there's a lot of ghosts. People come for one of two reasons, sometimes both. History of the Battle of Gettysburg or the ghosts that it left behind. And I used to teach Ghosts 101 to the tourists. There was so many ghost tours when I left. There was probably about 13 in competition with each other, which I think was a little crazy. And the town didn't like that, so they added an extra ticket tax. They made some money. And after the tours were over at night, I would teach Ghost 101. I even wrote a book. I don't think you can get it on Amazon anymore. It's retired, but you might be able to find it on eBay. It's called The Ghosts. Oh no, it's called, I should know my book, right? The Other Side of Gettysburg. And that was really just a little extra offering for the tourists. But if you're interested in the history and the ghosts together, it really teaches you some field exercises and the best way to be successful in any situation as far as investigating paranormal activities. That just seems like a lifetime ago. It was a lifetime ago. But we were just giggling and having a good time. We were a little intoxicated here. We did a little woo-woo. Definitely a little seance ensued. But yeah, the four of us, we stayed at the Inn of 1863. I wanted to get a fancy bed and breakfast, but it's very hard to find 2 queen beds. It is very hard to sleep with 3 other people in the room that you're not used to sleeping with. By the way, that was interesting because like somebody hears everything and doesn't sleep very well, and somebody else snores, and maybe a couple people snore. And at our age, we get up to pay a lot, and so that was a bit of getting used to, but I think we did pretty well. And I didn't want to get more than one room so that we could just be silly and have a pajama party. Food was good. I tried to eat well. Finally, my body just said, listen to it. I need a salad. So I had a nice Caesar salad with some grilled chicken on it. I tried not to drink too much. But yeah, we were just silly and having a good time. And if you got girlfriends you can get away with, absolutely. From here, it was only an hour and a half drive. So I would love to do that again sometime. But I thought when I get sick and if this is it, hey, listen, I said that was a good trip. I had a good time. All right. So I actually just had a nap. I probably look like it. And I got to go do some stuff until my next nap. It's not as bad as yesterday, though. I mean, I couldn't even turn the camera on yesterday. So, okay, so that was my trip. I just want to update you on that. And love you all. So I hope you are blessed today, or you're feeling blessed because you are. And I'll talk to you in a bit. Bye.